Why must everything I love lose miserably? Alfred barely gets featured in a game where he wins. D-Police get their ass handed to them during their one appearance. And now this. Why? Anyways. So let's talk about this week's episode of Cardfight Vanguard. So this week, Naoki and Korin fought, which was a very tough fight for Naoki because Korin was able to beat everyone up till this point. Mostly, I assume, because she tricked them all into playing Premium, but this time they're playing Standard, and Naoki was able to take the win joining the Cardfight Club. And yeah, I actually kind of really liked how this whole thing went down. First up, let's talk about the decks for a minute. This was not the typical, oh, my deck is inferior, but the power of friendship lets me win. No, when you look at it, Naoki actually played a deck that deals with fighting Ezel decks. He played stuff that used Bind. He played stuff that took advantage of the newly formed open rearguard circles. This was actually a pretty logical fight, and yeah, I could totally see how he actually pulled the victory off. So kudos, you actually kept the card fighter in me engaged. From also in that, the other big thing this week was we got a bit more of Naoki's home life, and I liked it because it wasn't anything over-the-top ridiculous. It was a very realistic scenario. It's a very grounded portrayal. He doesn't come from some weird over-the-top background. He is, to all extensive purposes, just a normal teenager. He's got an older brother who it's sort of insinuated he kind of feels like he's inferior to, in the shadow of. And it's not overplayed. It's not like the brother's like, oh, I'm the best, you suck, you little bitch. No, it's just a very normal, Naoki is kind of jealous of his brother's doing better than him, and Naoki's just kind of lost in life. He's obviously a very stubborn person. He obviously has a bit of a temper, and you can sort of see how that kind of alienates him from everybody. He's not good at socializing. He's not good at school, because probably whenever he gets close to and it proceeds to fail, he just kind of gives up and just gets mad at it. So he just kind of doesn't try, is just kind of alone all the time, and he believes it, and what's the best way to put this? Basically, he doesn't really believe he has to try or anything because he doesn't really believe there's a way to. He doesn't believe you can really change. He doesn't believe you can really get better. And the reason he's becoming such a different person is because he's been proven wrong. Aichi proves everything he believes wrong because Aichi did turn into a better person. Aichi is stronger. Aichi is more mature. Aichi is all those things Naoki believes you can't turn into. And that changes him, and I could definitely see that. Getting a more positive influence in your life, seeing someone who can do better, especially someone who you always felt this sort of guilt towards the way you were to them, all that. Yeah, I totally buy that this could really happen, and it really came out in a fun way. And I like the fact that they sort of give this sort of more grounded reality to Narukami when Masaki just simply goes, yeah, it's a card people use. I know that doesn't sound like much, but when you put it through that perspective of this card is used for this reason, and because of it, actual professional people use it, that's a very nice scene. And just the whole card fight in general had that very much feel. Naoki played things that countered what Korin did. As for golds in their first appearance, yeah, it's pretty much right. Now, obviously, if she had access to things like Vivian and some of the other tech cards golds have, there's no way Naoki would have won, but hey, you gotta get some plot armor in anyway, sooner or later. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty good episode. Not a lot to talk about, very simple, but it's been building upon what's been happening. Also, I kind of got some stuff to do, so I kind of got to cut this one a little short. Last thing I will mention, in the continuing saga of Masaki and her hormones, I thought it was sort of funny, if not in sort of a little cute way. Aichi and Naoki are in the card shop. Aichi showing Naoki all the new cards and stuff. They have a little gay guy chemistry. Masaki's just kind of outside looking at the sun, also sort of contemplating about how she's changing and how she kind of is maybe influenced by Aichi. And I choose to believe when Kai and Miwa walk by, the sense they got is she's just like, some bitches with my man. But anyways, that was that. And as for this week's Vanguard question of the week, let's talk about Narukami for a minute, because we kind of got a couple of their cards. We haven't seen a ton yet. But what's getting me about Narukami is some of their effects feel a little weird. Like the whole sort of putting them in the back circle, the binding. It's interesting, but I can't help but wonder, will this be just sort of more of an anti-meta deck? Like, obviously, as we saw in this episode, it was demonstrated the matchup against Ezel. Obviously, Excel decks have a very good matchup against Protect decks, and obviously, since this thing binds, it'll be good against Grand Blue. Do you think this thing could be a Tier 1 contender, or will it fall more into a meta check? Which, honestly, I'm thinking it'll probably could end up being more of a meta check than anything else. But what do you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on that, this episode, and anything else you think about the other clans. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week as hopefully they don't make the little glasses guy a little creepy stalker.